they're not there for the information. They're there for something amazing to happen to them. When they stepped off the plane, we had banners. We made sure all the taxi drivers had a little Content Marketing World pin. We have 3 days, but really the 362 days are the ones that matter. We were courting them every day with a piece of content. If you can target businesses because they have budget. It's so much easier to add more profit onto a big event than to just start a whole new event from scratch. You never turn off the engine. You just keep it running all the way through. That's probably the thing that I try to talk to event planners the most about.
Welcome, Joe. I'm super excited to have you on the podcast today. Could you tell the listeners a little bit about your background?
Yeah, so I've been in publishing / media for 30 years. I kind of lucked my way into this thing called content marketing when I was in business to business publishing. And I realized, wow, you could actually create content that people like as part of the marketing plan, and it will actually help grow your business. And I'm like, this is fantastic. And we ended up calling it content marketing, and that took off, and that led into our big event, Content Marketing World. The organization was Content Marketing Institute, and then we had a really good exit. My wife and I own that company. We had a great exit in 2016, and then I continued to write books every other year. Probably my best known is Epic Content Marketing. I wrote that in 2013, Content Inc., and my most recent book, Burn the Playbook. And now I basically write every week, and I'm on a podcast called This Old Marketing, trying to help marketers sort of control their own destiny. So I talk about a lot of leadership, a lot of, hey, you can control your life a little bit more than you probably think you can. Figure out options for, maybe that job's not the right thing for you and other things like that. So I get a chance right now to really write about topics that I'm passionate about that I think are going to make a difference with mostly marketers seem to be the audience that I'm targeting these days. So, and I live in Cleveland and love it here, and spend a lot of time here during the summer, and I get away from Cleveland as often as I can when it's not summertime. So,
yes. Hey, so I think I've read all your books. Loved Content Inc.
Thank you.
Did not get a chance to attend Content Marketing World. But if you had a favorite event, what would it be?
Of the ones that we did at Content Marketing World?
And or been to, attended other people's, either one.
Yeah, the one that I attended that I absolutely loved was Marketing Rockstars in Germany. This was one that I was able to speak at, and it was probably the largest audience I ever spoke in front of, about 10,000 people.
Wow!
And it was, what I loved about it is everything was about entertainment. Like if you were walking around the exhibit hall or you were in a session, it was just a fun vibe. We had music going. There was always great food. And I guess I appreciated that because when we were starting Content Marketing World, we always knew it's like, yes, of course, they get permission to come because we have sessions that they're getting information.
Yes.
But they're not there for the information. They're there for something amazing to happen to them, some experience. Of course, you could say, hey, I want to meet somebody. So we wanted to make, like, when they came into, especially the first Content Marketing World, which was 2011 in Cleveland, we wanted to make sure that when they stepped off the plane or drove into town, they immediately started seeing things associated with the event. And we weren't a large event, but because we were in Cleveland, we were allowed to do some things that maybe you couldn't do, and which is why I always say, hey, if you can go to a smaller city, do it, because they will work with you. So we would get billboard advertising and let people know when they stepped off the plane. We had banners. We made sure all the taxi drivers had a little Content Marketing World pin. And that started with the first event and just went on. And we wanted to make sure that they just felt like, oh my God, this is my place. These are my people.
Right.
And it was all about having fun and all about just not confusing them, very consistent throughout the entire process of the event.
That's amazing. Yeah, I love that when you can take over a city and brand a whole city for your event. And when you step off the plane and you see the banners, it's like, oh, hey, I'm here for this, and it's big. Yeah, that's fun.
And I think a lot of events, I mean, obviously you've been to a lot of, I've been to a number of events. They don't I don't understand why you switch cities. I get it,
Mm.
right? I get
Yeah.
fiscally, sometimes it's efficient to do that, or you might think, oh, they want to see a new place.
Yeah.
It might be better for them.
Yes.
But the leverage you get from one location, the relationships you have, and you can build on those year after year. We were allowed to do things in Cleveland that we should not have been, like areas of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that we were able to take over. That should not have happened. But it happened there because we were a mainstay in Cleveland. We became the largest business event in that city. So they let us get away with certain things, and got to know the people who did all the banners downtown, and they loved us. And everybody, we had orange everywhere, and
Yes.
people got into that. And then we knew all the people at the hotels. So I think when I see a big event, I remember, I think it was Dreamforce years ago. They said, "Oh, we're going to move out of San Francisco." I'm like, "Don't do it! Just please don't do it. Like, have that consistency." So that's where I just shake my head sometimes. Like, okay, I'm speaking at this event. I spoke there last year. Where is it now? They're
right.
What are they doing? Why are they giving all that
Yes.
goodwill away? But yeah, I get it. Business is business. But I think if we thought a little bit harder about it, we would make different decisions.
Mm-hmm. That is really interesting because I've never really thought of the like you said, the goodwill that would be generated year after year and allow you to do some really amazing things if the event stayed in the same city.
And I think the attendees appreciate it too. It's like, oh, I love coming back here every year. I mean, first of all, a lot of people, like when we launched the event, so our first year, I think we had 660 people, which was outstanding. And then we got up to 4,000. This would be the only time they ever go to Cleveland. Like, I remember the first year. How many of you is this your first time in Cleveland? Almost every hand. It's like, okay, so this is our opportunity to show off Cleveland. And what I loved, I think, was probably a compliment to us and the city, is that when some of the attendees would just come back because they wanted to go to the city. It's like, oh, I never knew that you were on a lake. Like, how would you know?
Yes.
You wouldn't know.
Right.
So, anyways, yeah, it was fun.
Hey, so in in your book, Content Marketing Inc., it implies that the view-on-demand videos were a significant part of the revenue. Is that true?
So we did a couple different things. First of all, we sold them separately as a package, which worked fine. But it didn't meet our expectations. And what we actually ended up doing was, which a lot of companies do, we did an all access ticket, which included the on demand after the fact. So that we did as the event. Then we later did a separate thing, which had some of the event information in, but we did our Content Marketing University, or our training program, and that became a separate revenue item. So that was really important to do that. I mean, I guess if you think about it, the way that we tried to think about it, we have 3 days, but really the 362 days are the ones that matter.
Yeah,
like that's the really important thing. So we were courting them every day with a piece of content, and then we would have we'd have the marriage. It was great. We were there, and then as soon as they left, we wanted to make sure that we continued that. So that, hey, being married is difficult. We've got to communicate. We're going to do that on and on. But from the on-demand standpoint, we said it's just much more effective to give them a bigger package and add a little bit more money to it. So instead of charging $200 or $300 for just add $100 to the ticket. And for a corporate audience, you usually didn't get a fight on that kind. Like if it's an individual, that's why I always say, but if you can target businesses because they have budget. Individual, it's much more difficult. So that's the way we did that. And then we ended up opening a completely new line of revenue and said, okay, we've got this training track that we're going to deliver for you. We're going to update that every quarter. And then part of those also included some of the relevant sessions. So the way that we build it out, the curriculum, it's like, okay, here's the main course. And then also here's some elective courses. I don't know, by the way, those were, but what we wanted to do for that is that really was marketing. I wanted the people that got into university, and a lot of them never came to content marketing world. I want to say, okay, so this is, if I can get that in front of them, or we would tease out free courses, which were part of the event. They say, that's an event that I can actually go to.
Right. Turn a session into a mini course or.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's really interesting. So the Institute was potentially a separate audience from the All Access.
Well, so if after a couple years of starting the event, we had about 200,000 email subscribers. So if you do the math, so most of the people that came to the event were email subscribers. So we communicated with them on the regular basis. So let's just go to our high water mark, which I believe was 2015, 2016. 4,000 to 200,000. That's a very small percentage.
Yeah.
So we have a much larger audience, and but the bigger part of the revenue came from the event. So we're like, okay, well, how do we package? So twice a week we would do webinars, which worked really well. Those were all sponsored, so there another group of people could come. The other thing was really important from a corporation standpoint. We found out that once you get somebody to go to the event, it's much easier for them to bring other people to it. So like back in the day, we would have Cisco Systems or Target, bring 30, 40, 50 people. And we would target that specifically to make sure, okay, well, we really just wanted one. So 2011, I'm like, okay, I need somebody from Cisco Systems. That's important. We want that name there. We want to make sure we promote that. Okay, so then we worked on them really hard and said, okay, hey, let's put together a group rate for you to bring as many people. So we would do a coupon code to get them. And then we ended up getting, actually, I think 1 year over 40 people from Cisco to come to the event. So, and that's incredibly important for us because you can't go to all this. The reason why you have more than one concurrent session is so people can bring more employees from the same company.
Right.
That's really why planners do it. But why would you want 8 or 9 going on at the same time? You really don't. It just complicates everything. But we do have many different people coming into that. But I would say probably Content Marketing World was 50% of our overall revenue. So we were doing, we were a media company that had this big event. And I guess the one learning we had when we were laying out the revenue model, I always thought, okay, we built this thing. Content Marketing World was the brand. It was working really well. And I'm like, okay, well, what if we did Content Marketing World Australia? What if we did Content Marketing World London? What if we did, we looked at Singapore, like we looked at different locations. And we actually started off, I was like, okay, 2012, 2013, we went over to Sydney and we did Content Marketing World Sydney in Australia. And I'm like, okay, started looking at the numbers. And we were profitable and it was a great event. But then I said, you know what? It would only take me getting 100 more people to the big event for us to make up all the profit that we just made.
No way.
Thing. And so I had so I'm like, okay, then we actually canceled the London. I'm like, we're going to do London. I'm like, oh no, that financially, that's not a good move. What a better move is we want to do feeder events. So we did small workshops and the point of these and we did one in London. We did them all over the United States. We did one in Toronto, and these would be, you could say on paper we made money, but they were break even at best. And the whole goal was to get the right people in there to tease them and say, okay, here's what we can offer, but really what you want to do is come to the big event. So that's what they actually became, is all I want to do now. I want to market to Sydney. So we would do, okay, we can do a webinar for targeting the corporate market in Sydney to get people to go to the big event. But we're not going to do the whole logistical operation. That was crazy. And then when I started, because at the initial time I was selling too. So I'm like, all right, now I'm working all the time.
Right.
I'm on calls at midnight and 1 a.m. and I'm like, this is not fun. Human beings shouldn't be doing this.
Right.
But that's where I'm learning. It's like, great. It's like, if you have that one big event, what you want to do is it's so much easier to add more profit onto a big event than to just start a whole new event from scratch.
Were the individual ones around the country, were they like a meetup or?
They were like
more than that.
They were like a 3/4 day session.
Oh,
so like I would go, and then our chief strategy officer Robert Rose, we're both on a podcast together to this day.
I love it.
We would go and we do those sessions. So we'd go into Boston, we'd find a hotel. We'd start at like 9 or 10 in the morning. We'd give them 4 or 5 hours of everybody to meet each other, but part of the curriculum, part of the training curriculum, offer them a really good discount to come in. And then we would have generally a cocktail reception afterward. So, and then, by the way, that was also great for us to get sponsors in. So we would look and say, okay, what corporate headquarters makes sense for us to go into specifically to have a sponsor get a feel for the kind of people that we attract to these events. So, okay, Boston, New York, San Francisco, Austin. So we were in all those places as well from a sponsorship standpoint. So
yeah, all the fun event cities.
You got it. Absolutely.
Well, hey, yeah, that is amazing. And love hearing about that. That's about it for me. I'm a little short on time today, but do you have anything you want to conclude with, or?
No, I think the most important thing is I talk to a lot of event people, and I don't think they talk enough about the off times. Like the every other. I mean, you're marketing every other day coming to the event. And the other thing is where I don't see enough is if you've got them there and that's the most excited they're going to be when they're at the end of this event, please sell them the ticket for the next year.
Yeah.
Like at whatever severe discount you feel is necessary, but don't just say, hey, we'll announce when it is. Like you've got to have that all ready, and you've got to have registration ready at that time so that they can go ahead and lock that in. That's just so critical. So if you can go, you can leave with 30 or 40% of your sponsors for the next year, and also a good portion of your alumni
your
attendees coming back, and you've done a lot of the work already. Instead of saying, okay, now we got to start the engine up again. You never turn off the engine. You just keep it running all the way through. That's probably the thing that I try to talk to event planners the most about.
Keep the pedal on the gas.
That's right. Absolutely.
Well, hey, thank you.
You got it. Thanks, Timothy. Appreciate talking to you.